Well, it's been an exciting few days for British fight fans, hasn't it? With Nicky Cook's great win over Alex Arthur in an even money fight. Nice to see that for the WBO title. And Amir Khan's shock, they say, first round KO to the Colombian. Well, for those of you following Amir Khan's career, he's not been a stranger to the floor, has he? And there's been serious questions raised over his chin, so one wonders why he was put in with a known puncher like the Colombian. Perhaps they thought he was out of his class fighting Khan. Sadly for Amir fans, it proved not to be the case. How sorry am I we didn't take the 500-1 for a first round knockout. Hindsight's a wonderful advisor, but as you know, I'm on tip-top form for boxing, very rarely get them wrong, until along comes the most exciting fight promotion that you'll ever see, which of course is Prizefighter. We had the first one, if you remember, in York Hall, Bethnal Green. Impossible to pick the winner. The Irishman Rogan came through against all the odds and won the first ever Prizefighter heavyweight title. This Friday night at Newcastle, it's heavyweights too. Two of the fighters we've seen before, the other 6 are new to Prizefighter, and we'll have to see how they cope with the 3-round format. For those of you not aware, Prizefighter is 8 fighters, 7 fights, 1 winner, all decided on the night. It's fully licensed, endorsed by the British Boxing Board of Control. These are professional boxers, but it's a 3-round tear-up and it tends to throw the form book outside. We don't know what's going to happen. One of the biggest attractions about Prizefighter is how difficult it is to pick a winner, so we'll have a go. In order of fight sequence, the first fight on is Sam Sexton against Pelly Reid. Well, again, please bet small on these fights because anything could happen in 3 rounds. I take Sexton against Reid. I think Reid can be dangerous, but maybe his best days are behind him. Second fight on, local favourite Dave Ferguson made the semi-finals in Prizefighter 1. He fights Luke Simpkin and Ferguson gets my nod. I think the crowd will be with him. He'll definitely be up for it. He tired last time badly, Ferguson, in the later stages. I think this time he's trained harder and he's more prepared for the Prizefighter experience. Time will tell, but I think a quarter-final berth looks assured. Chris Burton against David Ingleby. Ingleby the outsider, Burton the favourite. No surprise I'm going for Burton, he's undefeated. Local lad from Sunderland, the kid can fight. Danny Williams' tip to win it outright is Burton, and I think he'll have too much for Ingleby. Final fight, Lee Swaby, Darren Morgan. Well, Morgan came within a whisker last time of knocking out David Dolan in his first fight. Dolan was saved by the bell. But Morgan has prepared properly for this. He doesn't have a brilliant record. He is probably the hardest puncher out of these 8 heavyweights. Lee Swaby will not be found wanting. When it comes to heart, this kid can fight as well. I go for the outsider. I go for Morgan here to land a punch in what will be, in my view, the most exciting of 4 exciting fights in the first round. Coming on to the semi-finals, if we're right, it's Sexton against Ferguson. Again, I think home advantage is going to play into Ferguson's hands. He will be fit enough to get through this. I see him getting through to the final. And Burton against Darren Morgan. Well, if Morgan's been fortunate enough to land one of his bombs against Swaby, one wonders whether he can land them against the better fighter, Burton. Undefeated in 11 fights. I think Chris Burton will have too much ring knowledge. Which brings us down to the final that most people expect to see. Dave Ferguson against Chris Burton. It's going to be tough to call. It's going to come down to who's got what left in the tank. I go for Burton. I think he's going to have too much boxing ability all the way around. But hey, in Prizefighter, anything can happen. Don't miss it on September the 12th. It's on Sky Sports 1 at 8 o'clock. The whole evening is live. People have bought tickets, but they only need the edge of their seat. There is nothing quite like Prizefighter for exciting in fighting terms. Don't miss it. Keep your fingers crossed for Mr. Burton, but do not get involved in big punches. Don't get involved in this big punch-up in terms of big bets. It's just not worth it. Picking a winner is very, very hard. If you want to go crazy? Have an accumulator. At the end of the day, enjoy the fight.